I'm Butch Hartman. I've created so many worlds. Welcome to mine.
Oh, hey gang, how you doing? Butch Hartman here, the creator of Danny Phantom, and I'm so psyched because April 3rd, 2004 is the day that Danny Phantom premiered on Nickelodeon, right after the Kids' Choice Awards. Were you there when it premiered? And if so, how old were you? Danny Phantom was a dream come true for me because I'd already been working on The Fairly Odd Parents, and that had premiered on Nickelodeon March 30th of 2001. That show premiered, was doing very well, and the execs at Nickelodeon came up to me and they said, do you have anything else? And I said, wow, anything else? Danny Phantom. And all I really had, a drawing of Danny. Finally it settled on the one drawing that I liked. And my original thought for Danny Phantom was kind of like a Scooby-Doo character. He didn't have the ghost powers himself. He was just gonna have like a team of teenagers that he had with him, and that he would go and fight ghosts, and they would go to assignments, and then they would get, stuck and have a mystery or whatever. Sort of a Scooby-Doo kind of a thing. It was suggested that, hey, why don't you give Danny the powers and have him be like a ghost boy, and the powers to go through walls and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. Go through walls. He could fly and turn invisible. And that's kind of where the concept of Danny Phantom first came to life. And it's been such a joy to work on. Danny Phantom is now 20 years old. As of April 3rd, 2024, Danny Phantom is 20 years old. The fan base has been so excited for this show. They've never let up. In fact, the fan base has grown for Danny Phantom. It's just been so awesome. All of you out there, all of you Danny Phantom fans, and I spell fans P-H-A-N-S, the fans, all of you fans out there have been so supportive and so wonderful. I can't thank you enough. It's just been so great. And I now want to go to what questions you have about Danny Phantom. I put a poll out there on Instagram and asked a few of you what you thought of Danny Phantom and what questions you have now that Danny has become 20 years old. So I got some questions right here. Is Danny Phantom based off someone? Oh, that's a very cool question. I think if Danny Phantom was based on anybody, I'd say he was probably most likely based on me as a kid. Because Danny Fenton's age 14, but he's going through all the things a typical 14-year-old goes through. His body's changing, insecure, trying to meet girls, getting bullied, isn't getting his schoolwork right. Oh, and by the way, he's got superpowers and has to defend the town against ghosts. Now, I didn't really have that problem as a kid, but all the other stuff I think I and a lot of other 14-year-olds went through. So I would think loosely Danny Phantom is based on me as a kid, and I know a lot of creators kind of base a lot of qualities of their characters on themselves too. So I'd probably say mostly based on me. The Danny Phantom part anyway. I certainly was not a superhero growing up, although I sure wished I was. Great question. Here's another question. If the ghost zone exists, would there also be other zones, like a demon zone? That is a great question. The ghost zone I love because during that time when we launched the show finally, Danny's got to have like a realm he goes into where these ghosts come from. Where do these ghosts come from? We really tried to steer away from doing actual people that had been deceased, dead people and ghosts like that. Sometimes we would go there where there was a ghost of a person, but we really tried to steer away from that. What realm could they go into? And we thought it was really cool because I remember Superman in the Superman comics when I was growing up had a thing called the Phantom Zone where they would banish Kryptonians. And I thought that's a great name, the Phantom Zone, but I couldn't take the Phantom Zone. So we just used the Ghost Zone. And I thought the Ghost Zone is this great little, almost like a multiverse where Danny Phantom could go into this realm and it was kind of infinite. And we even did an episode called Infinite Realms where we sort of explore the Ghost Zone a little bit. And we'd always have these doorways, these floating doorways in the Ghost Zone that led to different places. Sometimes they led to other parts of the Ghost Zone, led to different time periods. They could lead to different parts of Earth. And so that to me was kind of a multiverse prior to all the other multiverse stuff that came out. So yeah, I would love there to be like a zone of scary characters out there. I think it'd be really cool. So yeah, to answer your question, I bet there would be some kind of a zone like that. Another question. How many character designs for Danny did you go through for getting to the final one? Great question. When you're designing a character for any show, especially like Danny Phantom or a superhero show, especially when the character's got two identities, he's got his Danny Fenton persona and his Danny Phantom persona, you need a design for each one. Because Danny Fenton could look like a normal boy, but he could have turned into a Shazam guy, like a much bigger, muscular guy, right? So what's really cool is we went through a ton of Danny Phantom designs. You can see where Danny's not even close to looking like he ended up finally looking. I always always started off drawing Danny with dark hair. I initially started doing him as a superhero with dark hair, so like a Superman or a Superboy or a Peter Parker. And then there was one time where I was actually probably on my 5 millionth design of Danny, working on it, kept drawing the black hair, and I kind of walked away from the drawing for a second before I could color in the hair. And when I walked back to the drawing, I saw that the hair wasn't colored in, it was just white, and I thought, man, that is awesome. A ghost boy with white hair, that's really, really cool. So the white hair ended up really speaking to me, thought it was great, and so we ended up going with the white hair as the final design. But that took a lot of design. You'll see all the differences that I did with all the different designs. We had other artists working on the designs as well, but it takes sometimes that many designs to land on the final design. So thank you for that question. Here's another question. Is there going to be a Danny Phantom movie? I would love there to be a Danny Phantom movie. And if there was going to be a Danny Phantom live action movie, who would you want to see play Danny Phantom? Who would you want to see play Sam, Tucker, Jack Fenton, Maddie Fenton? Who would play these characters in the Danny Phantom movie? Let me know what you think. Here's a great question. Are Danny and Sam going to get married? Well. That is a great question. We definitely toyed with that idea during the show. While I was making the show back in the early 2000s, the characters of Danny and Sam are only forever 14 years old. I mean, in the show, they don't really age. They were just 14. So at age 14, they weren't going to get married. But were the show to go on, let's say we did age up the characters to like, say, 20, 21, 23. I mean, there's a possibility. I would love to see them stay in a relationship for a long time. I would love to see them get married. I don't know. I think it'd be great. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Oh, here's a great question. After doing the Ultimate Enemy special, did you ever think about a future evil Danny Phantom? Danny Phantom, the girl, Danny Phantom. I think that'd be great. We already did Danny, the boy Danny's evil side. To do the girl Danny, D-A-N-I, her evil side, that'd be great. I think it'd be a wonderful concept. And I think that'd be a great story. Maybe some of you out there should write a story like that and do a fan fiction on that. That'd be really cool. Here's a great question. What episodes were scrapped during the show's production? A good question. We didn't really scrap any episodes. We didn't like have a whole episode that we wrote and we just couldn't make it. So much work goes into writing an animation script and then recording it and storyboarding it and all that stuff. But even just the writing of the script takes so much time. We rarely, if ever, spent time on a story that we didn't make. So I can't even think of an episode we didn't make. Now, we may have changed some episodes along the way. As far as scrapping one entirely and just tossing it out, we didn't really do that. So, you know, the only thing I can think of that comes close to that is when Nickelodeon told me they were ending Danny Phantom, we had sort of a story arc mapped out for sort of a takeover of Amity Park. The ghosts were going to take over Amity Park. We're sort of starting to play with that story a little bit. It was going to be like almost like a Walking Dead type of show where the humans were in exile and ghosts had taken over the town. But we weren't allowed to play that story out, so we had to end up cutting Danny Phantom short, if you will. And I wrote the episode Phantom Planet, which was the final episode of Danny Phantom. And I'm so glad I got to write that episode because it really tied things up really neatly for where we were. But yeah, Danny Phantom would continue, man. We have so many great ideas for future episodes. Hey guys, thanks so much for your questions. Thanks for being Danny Phantom fans for all of these years. 20 years, Danny Phantom. What are some of your favorite Danny Phantom memories? What are some of your favorite characters, your favorite ghosts, your favorite lines of dialogue? I would love to know. Let me know. And I just want to thank you again for being Danny Phantom fans. We couldn't do it without you. 20 more years, let's do this. And who knows what the future holds for Danny Phantom, but I'm excited. With fans like you, we can't go wrong. So thanks so much. Love you guys. And like Danny always says, go and ghost.
He's here to fight for me and you.